Are you tired of just, skimming the surface? Good. Because today we're really going deep. We're zooming in on something that's, well, more than just a nice skill for your resume. It's like a genuine superpower in today's world. The surprising, really transformative power of multilingualism.
Yeah, and for our conversation today, we're drawing from this really insightful article. It's called How Multilingualism Enhances Your Brain and Career in Performance Marketing. You can find it over on Blacks in Performance Marketing, which is a fantastic resource, by the way. So our mission for this deep dive is to really get into how knowing multiple languages isn't just some soft skill. No, it's a real game changer. It actually kind of rewires your brain and can seriously push your career forward. Especially in a field like performance marketing, which is so fast-paced, so data-driven. We're going to look at the cognitive side, the cultural impact, and interestingly, even how it can improve your first language.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. We're talking real benefits here, right? Tangible stuff. So what's actually happening inside our heads? What are the concrete cognitive boosts you get from learning a new language? How does that help a performance marketer?
Well, the article is pretty clear on this. Learning another language fundamentally uh, enhances how your brain works. We're talking measurable improvements. Things like increased cognitive flexibility, basically your brain gets better at juggling things, and also much better problem-solving abilities. It's really not just about learning words. It's about making your brain more efficient, building new pathways. There's a great insight from Dr. Judith Kroll. She's a cognitive psychologist. She says, the brain becomes better at switching between tasks, which improves decision-making and creativity. It's like upgrading your brain's internal router. Make it faster, more adaptable. So for a performance marketer, think about it. You're constantly looking at Google Analytics, ad dashboards, different data streams all at once. This helps you juggle all that, make faster connections between maybe data points that don't seem related at first glance, spotting opportunities or problems much quicker.
That sounds like a pretty fundamental upgrade for the brain, almost like a hardware refresh. So for someone in performance marketing, always tweaking campaigns, managing budgets, how does this rewiring help them iterate faster? When they're running A/B tests or adjusting bids in real time.
Right, exactly. That cognitive agility you gain from being multilingual,
Hmm?
it directly helps with things like designing better A/B tests and understanding the results more deeply. You get better at spotting those subtle patterns in big, messy data sets. You might see connections in user behavior across different regions that others miss, and you can iterate on ad copy, on creative, much faster, based on that real-time feedback you're getting. In performance marketing, things change constantly, right? Trends pop up, algorithms shift. So the ability to quickly assess, decide, and pivot, that's not just nice to have, it's essential for survival.
Yeah.
It helps you move from just reacting to actually proactively optimizing your ROI, cutting down wasted ad spend. It's the difference between catching that budget leak early versus letting it drain resources or spotting the next winning creative before anyone else does.
Okay, so the brain gets a serious boost. That's clear. But performance marketing isn't just about crunching numbers in your head, is it? It's fundamentally about connecting with people with different cultures, which brings us to cultural competence. It's a term we hear a lot, but what does it really mean in this context? How does language unlock that deeper understanding?
Yeah, the article really emphasizes this point. Knowing another language gives you a profoundly deeper grasp of culture because, well, language and culture are just woven together. You really can't separate them. You can't translate something effectively, truly effectively, without understanding the context, the nuances, the social norms, what actually resonates with a specific group of people. And that deep understanding is just invaluable when you're trying to craft marketing campaigns that actually work, that feel authentic. Just think about it practically. A performance marketer who speaks Spanish fluently or Mandarin, they can tailor campaigns for, say, U.S. Hispanic audiences or Chinese communities, not just by changing the words, but by understanding the cultural subtleties. Things like humor, values, even which colors might work better or worse. It ensures the message actually lands the way you intend it to and avoids those potentially costly missteps that can turn off a whole audience segment.
That deeper understanding feels so critical, especially when, like you said, every click, every impression matters. There's another quote in the piece from Dr. Lars Roning, a language expert. He says, language shapes how we think, and knowing a second language gives you access to a broader range of cognitive frameworks. Okay, broader range of cognitive frameworks. That sounds significant. But practically, for a marketer, what does that mean beyond just avoiding mistakes? Does it help them see opportunities maybe others don't?
Absolutely. When you genuinely understand these different cultural contexts, these different ways of thinking, your marketing messages just resonate more. They feel real, not just like a clunky translation. You start to almost anticipate how different groups might interpret an ad or react to a certain call to action, and that leads directly to better engagement metrics, stronger connections, and ultimately, yes, higher conversion rates for your campaigns.
Right.
It's a difference between your message just being heard versus it actually being understood and felt. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, how many campaigns kind of miss the mark because they lack that real cultural fluency.
We've talked about reaching external audiences, but what about within the team? Or with clients, how does multilingualism help create a more inclusive, more effective environment there? Does it help collaboration?
Well, it plays a huge role in diversity and inclusion, definitely. Just the act of speaking multiple languages, or even trying to, shows a basic respect for different cultures. And that's not just about being polite. It genuinely helps build stronger, more meaningful relationships, whether it's with clients from different backgrounds or colleagues on your own team. And in marketing, where diverse perspectives are what often lead to the best ideas, that kind of connection is gold. It helps build that sense of belonging. Dr. Ronning hits on this again. He says, language is a bridge to understanding. The more languages you know, the more cultures you can connect with on a meaningful level. It's literally about building bridges, breaking down barriers, creating real rapport. When team members can communicate more easily across different languages, ideas just flow better. There are fewer misunderstandings. And your strategies end up being richer because they pull from a wider range of global insights. All of this builds trust, authenticity, which is absolutely essential for long-term success in business.
Thinking of language as a bridge is really powerful. Okay, now for something maybe a bit unexpected. The article points out a benefit that seems almost counterintuitive. Learning a second language can actually make you better at your first language, your native tongue. That sounds it's surprising, right? How does that work?
It does sound a bit strange at first, but it makes sense when you think about it. It's not magic, but it is fascinating. See, when you learn a second language, you're suddenly forced to look at language structure, grammar, how words work together, in a way you probably never did consciously with your native language. You start analyzing sentences, thinking about word choice, understanding how meaning is constructed, and that whole process, that analytical lens, sharpens your communication skills overall, even in the language you grew up speaking. So for performance marketers, what does this mean practically? Well, it translates directly into clearer writing, more precise messaging, and ultimately more persuasive ad copy. If you get better at explaining a complex idea clearly in, say, French, that skill carries over to English. Imagine explaining a tricky campaign strategy to a client. Learning another language forces you to distill your thoughts, choose words carefully, really understand the impact of phrasing. That same precision helps you craft killer ad headlines, or CTAs, where every single word counts towards conversion rates and the bottom line. It's almost like, learning another language turns you into a better analyst of your own language, without even trying.
Right, it forces you to be more deliberate. Okay, so let's pull all these different threads together then. Why is learning a language based on all this not just a nice to have anymore, but really a critical investment for performance marketers operating today?
Well, the big takeaway from the article is crystal clear. The world market is global, it's interconnected, and it's only getting more so. In that context, multilingualism isn't niche anymore. It's becoming essential. The ability to genuinely engage with diverse groups, understand different perspectives, even just think in multiple linguistic ways. It's shifting from being a luxury to a necessity if you really want to excel in marketing today. It just gives you such distinct advantages, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That improved cognitive flexibility we talked about, the deeper cultural competence that goes way beyond just surface awareness, and even, surprisingly, better skills in your own native language. These are real competitive edges in a field that's, let's face it, incredibly competitive. They help you stand out.
Yeah, it really drives home the point that picking up any language, whether it's Spanish, Mandarin, French, whatever clicks for you, it isn't just about adding a line to your LinkedIn profile. It fundamentally boosts your value in this global marketing world. It genuinely opens doors, professionally and personally too. It's truly an investment in yourself, in your future, really no matter where your career path leads. So in an industry like performance marketing that's always changing, where global reach and cultural insight are becoming absolutely key, multilingualism really does seem to be the way to stay ahead. It's about equipping yourself not just for today's challenges, but for tomorrow's opportunities.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. If multilingualism really is a key to unlocking new opportunities, to getting ahead in your career, what language might you think about investing in next, to boost your own journey? and connect with a wider, more diverse world out there.
That's definitely a powerful question to reflect on. Think about how expanding those horizons, cognitively and culturally, could really change things for you. Thanks for diving deep with us today.